Hello, I am Ellohime. This is episode 3 of the streaming series I am doing. In the last episode, we talked a little bit about some preliminary foundational tips that you can take to streaming. And one of the first tips I gave you was if you have not started streaming, to start streaming now. And maybe a lot of you have asked yourself, well, how do I start streaming? I have no idea how. I did not consider that in my last video, so I'm going to go over it now. Basically, I'm not a tech person in any capacity. I'm very bad with technical stuff, programs, things like that. There are many guides that you may want to look over. I'll link a few below for this video specifically. But basically, you have two avenues going into this. There's others, but if you're a PC streamer, this is where you're going to be coming from. Either XSplit or OBS. A lot of old guys like the XSplits thing. It's what they're comfortable with. It's what they know. It works. A lot of the new guys, like myself, like OBS. OBS is open broadcast software. It is free to download and use. It is really, really simple. I was able to figure it out. But a lot of you will need to look at some videos on how to set things up or set up a scene or, there's so many little things you can do with OBS that I might make a video in the future and go over just kind of little tips and tricks with that as well. But there's so much that you can do with, again, it's open broadcast software. It is what I'm using to film this actually. And it's been very, very, very solid for my streaming since I started out. The only other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about today was scheduling and support. Okay. I don't know everybody's situation, obviously, who watches this video. But in order to become a full-time streamer, and by the way, I know that not a lot of you maybe have that goal in mind. Maybe you don't want to be a full-time streamer. I think this is good information anyways, but this is more specifically for people who want to really do this full time and really put their heart and soul into it. You're going to need to have a foundation and support before you start doing this. And what this means is you're going to need to be able to live in the real world when you're setting this up and you're getting involved in Twitch, so that you can afford yourself the time to do this right. So for me, I live at my grandma's house right now. I've been here for 3 years. She had heart surgery about 3 years ago. I moved in. We needed a family member to move in. I love my grandmother. I get to live rent free, which works for me. And I drive her to the grocery store and do, and doctor's appointments, stuff like that. This affords me the ability to sit down here every day and put time into this, in my lifestyle. Okay. Now, my girlfriend Cora and I are looking for a house, and we're going to be moving out and all that good stuff. But for right now, this is my situation. You need to set yourself up in a situation that will allow you to be able to stream, and do it well. A lot of you guys work full-time jobs and try to stream. That's very difficult. It's very hard to grow a stream effectively when you're putting that much time into something else, and then putting 40 hours plus into something else, and then 40 hours plus into this, because let me tell you guys, when it comes to streaming, I have never worked harder in my life. And I know a lot of people don't understand, like, oh, you play video games and you get paid. It's not that simple. In order to do this right, there's so much more that goes into what happens off stream that you don't realize, which is what I'm going to get into in another episode. But this takes a lot of time. And that's another thing I want to talk about, is time and scheduling. So having a means for you to be able to do this and put your time and put your heart and soul into this in order to make it successful, and then allocating that time effectively. So for me, okay, so let's look at my stream. If you watched episode 1, you know that I started streaming at about 4 in the morning, and I streamed till about 9 or 10. So from 4 to 9 or 10 in the morning, and then I got up and went to college, that day, and went to classes. I kind of fell into that spot, but that spot was extremely effective for me. First of all, A lot of gamers typically are kind of let's just be honest, we're kind of a lazy bunch. We like to stay up all night playing video games, sleep all day into the afternoon, and a lot of streamers they've adapted that quality into their stream times. So if you look at some big streamers, I'm not going to name them because I don't know if they want their name mentioned in these videos. A lot of big streamers stream from 11 to about 5 a.m., 4, 5, 6 a.m., and that's a great time. That's a great time for them to stream. I stream now, my time is about 3 a.m. to 10, 12 noon Eastern time. So what happens is there's a two-part thing to this. First of all, it's where I started to build my crowd initially, which is a very big European crowd, Australian crowd. A lot of my country, I'm from Florida in the USA. A lot of my crowd is asleep from my country. But around the world, we're hitting, I believe, Europe in the afternoon for a lot of them, Australia in the evening. And at that same time, a lot, I stream into the morning. A lot of other streamers are going to bed. And so their viewers are looking for other people to watch. Now, I started out with my scheduling accidentally, but now it's become a very, very, very strategic what's the word I'm looking for? Very specific, I guess I'm looking for. I don't know. It's chosen for a reason now. And that is because what I've done typically up until now that I can actually get the top spot, what I do is I set myself behind the person who's in the top spot. And then when they log off for the evening, all the people who are there go right to me, and then I take the top spot. This is more of a positioning thing. We'll talk about positioning in a future episode more. But what it comes down to is scheduling your time effectively is important. Knowing when you're most tired or when you're most active in your life is going to be important too. You don't want to come on here and be tired and dragging ass. People are going to see it. It's going to bring down your stream. There's plenty of mornings I woke up in the morning and went, God, I'm so tired, flipped on a stream, and it was just not a very good stream because I just was tired and didn't have the enthusiasm I needed. That happens. But when it comes to scheduling your time, you need to think about a very set time that you're going to be here, that people can start to know that when they flip on your stream, or when they flip on Twitch or go on Twitch, that they know that you're going to be streaming, or most of the time, 90% of the time. Okay, so wherever that time is, you need to find that niche, whether it's in the morning or the evening or the afternoon, whatever you're hitting time zone, whatever, you need to figure it out. And I would suggest that you stay with it. I know some of you can't afford to sit with a set schedule. I know some of you are kind of, you play and you stream when you can. That's very hurtful for what you do because people can't count on you to be there when they want to view you. And building a base of people, of viewerships. A lot of people say, hey, you're part of my morning routine. I wake up and grab coffee and sit down and watch your stream before I go to work. Like that kind of thing. When you become part of somebody's routine, that's when you start to build a base of people. They see you every day at that same time. Now, like I said, I know a lot of you can't afford this time. This goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the episode. Find a way to afford yourself this time, that you can set yourself up in a certain time slot so that people know that you're going to be here during this time. How long does that time need to be? Here's two things I want to talk about during that time. One, I would say no shorter than 4 hours. Personally, I would say you need to go 6 to 8, 6 to 10 hours, 6 to 12 if it's a crazy good day. If there's a bunch of people, you're getting a lot of growth, the vibe's right, push it a little further, whatever. But I would say at least 4 hours. What I found streaming is that over a certain amount of time, I start my stream at 3. By 4, I have 400 or 500 people. By 5 to 6, I'm closing up on 700 or 800, and then by 8, 9, 10 in the morning, I'm pushing 1,000 to 2,000 or 3,000, whatever's happening in game I'm playing that day. You need to give them a time to kind of build up and kind of just filter in. So I would consider at least 4 hours a day, at least, probably longer, but if you can't afford more than that, at least 4 hours a day, and find a set schedule, a set place that you can be there for that 4 hours, so that people know that when they go on Twitch, that you're gonna be there, and you're gonna be saying, hey, what's going on? That's gonna help you build a player base, a viewer base. So anyways, we talked a little bit about OBS and XSplit. I don't know much about XSplit. I'm more of an OBS kind of guy. I'll put some links below to YouTube videos on how to set those up. Everybody's computer is different. You're gonna have to set your own stuff up. I'm not tech savvy like that, but I just want to make you aware of those programs. And I'm gonna make you more aware of other programs that you're gonna want to use in the future too, in another episode. But we talked about support, finding yourself outside of the stream in a capacity where you can get yourself in a good schedule for the viewership, so they can get used to seeing you day to day at a certain time. Okay, and that's very important. I'm going to go ahead and cut this episode out. Episode 4, I believe. I don't know. We'll see where that one goes. But anyways, thank you guys so much. If you need anything from me, all my stuff is pretty much linked below. And we might even have some kind of fancy footer at the end of this. Cue footer now! Wah!